Good morning, everyone, and welcome to another CAS 360 New Features webinar. My name is Shami, and I'm one of the CAS 360 product managers, and I'll be running the session today. Firstly, let me start by saying thank you for taking the time to join us today. Now, today's session is a repeat of the user groups we conducted last week in person. Last week, we kicked off our user group sessions in Auckland, and then we were in Tauranga, Wellington, and finished up in Christchurch. So it was really great to catch up with clients and talk to them about what we have worked on over the last few releases, and also come up with some ideas on what they would like to see next. So today's session would really cover some of those main items we discussed in those user groups. Now, throughout the webinar today, if you do have any questions, feel free to type in the Zoom Q&A section, and I will try and answer your questions as we go along. I also have our team members monitoring the Q&A as well, and they'll be able to help out with any of your questions as well. So I'll do a quick intro of our New Zealand team here with me today. I'm sure you've spoken to most of them. We do have Ra, who is your account manager, and also Kajal, who is a business development manager, and Jess, who is just returning from maternity leave, who is also a business development manager. So the team will hang around to help out with your Q&A today. All right, so let's have a look at what we are going to cover today. Now, we do have some new users registered today. So for those of you who are new to these webinars, what can you expect from these sessions? It's really an opportunity for us to show you what we have been working on over the last few months, wish-listed features that we have implemented. Also an opportunity for you to ask questions, give us feedback on features that you want us to work on, and so on. So, and also at the end of the day or at the end of the session, hopefully you'll walk away with some useful ideas that you can implement back at your practice. So we're going to start off with the latest CAS 360 new features. So I'll cover some new features and improvements that we've implemented. We'll have a look at some BGL ID enhancements as well. And we'll finish off with what we have lined up for the rest of 2025. And we can also run through your Q&A as well. So I have a lot to cover today, so let's dive right into it. So what's new? So over the last few releases, we have implemented lots of new features in CAS 360. So we'll start off with some annual return workflow improvements, mainly around multiple reviewers. We've also implemented disqualified director checks in CAS 360, changes to the company change summary, also new enhancements around contact labels. We've added a lot of improvements and enhancements around directors' interest screens, dividends, and the trust screens as well. And we'll have a look at some AML compliance and reporting improvements and BGL ID as well. All right. So you will receive a copy of the slides at the end of the session today. Over the next few slides, you will see I have detailed all the sections, or under each main topic, all the little areas that I will cover in my presentation today. So we'll start off with annual returns. So we're going to first have a look at some improvements around filter columns that we've implemented, partner manager sorting, annual returns sending to multiple reviewers. We'll have a look at some automated reminders that's been implemented, and also the reset annual return button. So I'm going to jump into CAS 360 and we'll start off with the annual return workflow. So with annual returns, I'll jump into my annual return screen and New Zealand returns. Set up my data here. So in the annual return screen here, you'll see a couple of releases ago or late last year, we implemented the filter columns button here. So the filter columns is really for you to decide on the information that you want to view on the screen. So if you click on filter columns here, over the releases, we've added a number of additional options here as well. So client reference number is a good one that a lot of clients like to display on the annual return screen. And we've now implemented partner and manager as well to be displayed. So if you do have partners or managers that you have assigned to your companies and you'd like to view that information in the annual return screen, you can simply toggle those options on and hit the save button, and that'll be displayed in the annual returns grid here. So if I expand this here, you'll be able to see the partner and manager columns there. Now, a quick one here as well. Just in our last release, we added the option for you to sort these columns as well. So if you want to sort them, so it's in alphabetical order, even also the manager column as well. So you can simply select the little icon here, and that'll sort the column for you. So you can sort it in order. For example, you can sort it in the partner column first, so it'll have a 1 next to it. And if you want the next sorting to be from the manager column, it'll have 2 next to it, so you can filter the grid that way as well. All right, so a quick little one there to start off with. While we're in annual returns, the next feature is one that we've implemented just last release. Now, when you have a look at your annual return, if I go into my prepare document screen here, and I'll preview my annual return. So in the annual return, in the office holders section where we display the company office holders, the annual return document will always display the birth details of the director. So you see I've got a director here and I've got my date of birth, place of birth, and country of birth displayed. Similarly for this director as well, I've got that information on the annual return. We did have some requests sent across saying some clients would like to hide this, the date of birth details or the birth information for your office holders. So what we have implemented now is in your annual return screen, if you go into the options button here, you'll now see a new item, show officer birth details. So that'll be toggled on by default. You can simply turn that off and hit the save button, and that'll hide the birth details of your office holders in your annual return. So the information is removed. So it is turned on by default, and at this stage, you have to toggle it off for each one of your companies. We will look at probably making that a default option as well, so you can save it so that you don't have to turn it off every time. But however, there is that flexibility available now. So while we're in the annual return screen, another key improvement that we've implemented is the multiple reviewer option. Now in CAS 360, every single document production screen has the option for you to send your documents to be reviewed. Now your documents production screen would look like this, and if you simply toggle this option on, you're able to flag your documents to be reviewed. Now, if you haven't used this feature before, this means before the document or the annual return in this instance is sent out to your client, you have the option to send it to be reviewed by an internal person within your organization. So it could be a manager, it could be a senior person, a partner, and so on, or a colleague, for example, who can review the document or review the work that you have done before it reaches the client. Now, previously in CAS 360, you only had the option to attach one reviewer, and we've improved this workflow by allowing you to attach multiple reviewers. Just so that, for example, let's say now in this scenario, I've selected Shami, Andy, and Mark to review this document. So only one of these reviewers need to review the documents, not all three. So in a scenario where, let's say, Shami is on leave or couldn't get to her emails to review the document, Andy or Mark can easily log in and review the document so that the document can be passed on to the client. A common question with this this feature that we get is, do both have to review the document? No. And also, for example, let's say if Shami has gone in and reviewed the document and has rejected the document, Andy doesn't need to action anything from there. So it will stop the second person going in and actioning the document. And the other way around as well. Let's say if Shami has already approved the document or approved the annual review here, Andy does not need to action the review again. So again, if you haven't seen the review process, once the documents have been sent out to the reviewer will receive a CAS 360 email saying there's a document to be reviewed. When they log into that email, it'll bring them back into CAS 360 and it'll take them to the document screen and it'll take them to the document review screen where they'll see a list of all the documents that they have to review. So in this scenario here, you'll see I have one that's to be reviewed that is marked as pending here. So the reviewer simply needs to click on the review documents button and then up comes the document that they have to review. So the document that the user had previously prepared, you'll be able to see, and you have the option to either reject or approve the document. If you are rejecting, you can add in a message saying why you are rejecting the document as well. And it'll go back to the previous user or the sender so that they can action the document again. So the multi-reviewer workflow is available in all the document production screens, not only the annual return screen. So you'll see that again. Just at the bottom here, you'll be able to assign multiple reviewers. Another item we've implemented is the automated reminders in your bulk annual return processing workflow. Now, if we go back a step and talk a little bit about automated reminders, in CAS 360, there's lots of workflows where you can set up reminders that can go out to your clients. So automated reminders can be set in your settings screen here. And if you go into the automated reminders section and document reminders, and under the annual return section, specifically, you'll see a New Zealand section where you can set your reminders to your clients. So really the idea behind automated reminders is you set the reminders once and you can forget about it. Basically, once you've sent off your documents to the client, CAS 360 will send the reminders out if a signed copy has not been received into CAS 360. So if we take the example as your annual returns, so let's say you prepared your annual returns for the month of June and you've got till the 30th of June to receive the signed copy of the annual return and file them across to company's office. Now, in my example here, I have set up a 10-day reminder, a 5-day reminder, a 2-day reminder, and so on. So let's say 10 days before the deadline date of my annual return, if I still have not received a signed copy or if I have not filed the annual return for that specific company, CAS 360 will send out a reminder 10 days before to that specific client. Similarly, they'll send out a 5-day reminder and so on till we action that annual return. So again, the idea is you can set it once in the settings screen and then CAS 360 will do the work for you. What we've done with annual returns is we've now implemented the automated reminders around your bulk annual return processing. So the bulk annual return processing is, let's say I've got a couple of annual returns here. So I've selected 5 annual returns to process in one go. I'll go into my prepare documents button at the top. So you select the companies, prepare documents button at the top here. And let's say I'm proceeding with all 5 here. So in this scenario, CAS 360 will prepare the annual return documents for all 5 of these companies and send them out to your clients. And at the top here, now you'll see automated document reminders will be set as well. So for each one of these companies, depending on when the client sends back the annual return signed document, or if they haven't sent back the annual return signed document, the automated reminders will be set for each one of them and will be reminders will be triggered directly from CAS 360. So previously, the reminders were only set at an individual level, only when you were processing the annual returns through this Prepare Documents button. Now we've implemented around the bulk annual return processing as well. Great. So lots of little features that we've implemented around the annual return workflow there. Let's jump into the next feature. So the next one is disqualified director checks. So in our last release in CAS 360, we implemented a check against the disqualified directors database. So previously, if you were appointing a director in CAS 360, and that director's name matched the company's office disqualified director database, the transaction would basically fail. And at that point, our clients had to jump onto the company's office website to process the rest of the transaction. So to handle this scenario, we've now implemented the disqualified director check inside CAS 360. So I'm going to try and show you a test one here. I'll go into a company here and I'll appoint a director. So I already have a test one created here. So let's say my director's name is everything entered. So I've got an officer attached here, address and birth details already linked. Let's appoint them as a director and I'll just appoint them as at today's date. So I select the print toggle here, prepare forms. Let's say all my documents are good to go, happy with the documents, and I'll just prepare my documents here. So my transaction has been processed now. And let's go into my document screen. So you've got your director appointment here. Let's assume that I've received the signed form 9 from my director as well. Attach my consent here. And at this point, you can hit the lodge button now. So when you hit the lodge button here, CAS 360 will check against the company's office disqualified director database, and immediately you'll be able to see that little action button that appears. So your transaction has not fully been processed, and you need to action this item here. So if you click on the little action toggle, up comes a new modal that says director disqualification checks and basically tells you that the director that I just added in, everything entered, has matched against the disqualified directors database to another director with a similar name here. So in this instance, you can double check the details here. And if the director is not the same person identified above here, you can simply select the toggle on here and then proceed with your director appointment transaction. So we've implemented this check in your director appointment workflow and also in your company registration workflow as well. Now, one thing to remember is the little action modal probably takes about 5 to 10 seconds to appear because we are running those checks against the company's office database, against the disqualified directors database. So for this, let's say you've selected the lodge button and navigated out of CAS 360 or into another screen. The action item will also appear under your notifications as well. Just in case you've missed it under your document screen, you'll be able to view it under your notifications as well. So over here, you'll be able to see lodgement pending and you'll see the disqualified director check. You can again action it directly through this screen as well. And it will bring you back to the same screen. So you need to action by toggling this option on to say that it is not the same person and proceed with your transaction. So that's your disqualified directors. So while we're in our document production screens, I'll show you another item that we've implemented. So with your change summaries in all your document production screens, if you preview your change summary, a change summary is usually signed by one director of the company that you've selected. So the main signatory or the first director that we find on the officers list there. Again, there were listed requests saying that clients would like to have all the directors signing the change summary as well. Now you'll be able to see a new option under the change summaries here. If you select the option menu, there's signed by all directors as well. So you simply need to toggle the option on and hit the save button here. And if you click on the change summary now, you'll be able to see space for all the directors to sign your document. So if you do have digital signing linked to CAS 360, if we've added the multi-directors to sign the document here, it will send those electronic signing emails to those extra directors as well. Great. Let's have a look at the next feature. The next one is around labels. Now, in CAS 360, we have implemented labels for quite some time around company selection and your trust selection screen. So labels are really utilized as a way of grouping the information on your screen. So a lot of clients use the label screen in different ways. So for the most common example is let's say you've got all your offices, you can have, let's say, companies that belong to your Auckland office, companies that belong to your Hamilton office, Christchurch office, and so on. We do have clients who have created labels saying Auckland, Hamilton, and so on and so on, so that you can easily sort of select the Auckland companies and you can view the Auckland companies on the screen as a way of sort of grouping. A lot of clients also use partners' names as well. So you can say these companies belong to a specific partner, these companies belong to a specific partner, and so on. So group them that way. So we had implemented labels in your company selection, and we also had labels available in your trust selection as well as a way of grouping. So now we've also implemented labels in your contact screen as well. So if I jump into the contact screen, how do you assign a label to your contacts? If you go into a contact screen here, let's just look at adding in a brand new contact. So let's say I'm creating a contact called Busy Bee. I'll attach an address. And right at the bottom, you'll see a labels option here. So it'll, as you start typing in, it'll show your current labels. So let's say I'm creating a label called Shami, attaching to my BGL label as well. And you can simply hit the save button. So once you've attached the labels, you'll be able to see them against your contact over here. Also, the way to activate the labels in your contact screen is you just have a toggle at the bottom, activate label filters on your left-hand side, and if you toggle the option on, you'll be able to see the manage labels options here. So for example, if you select a label, you'll be able to see all the contacts that's attached to that label. If you select another one, you'll be able to see the combined ones as well. Now, the question is, we've implemented labels now and I've got, thousands of contacts attached in my database. How do I attach labels to my existing contacts? To do that, you can simply click on Manage Labels, click on the little icon here, and that'll take you to your Manage Labels screen. So here you'll just need to select the label that you want to attach, click on the label, and up comes your contact screen. And then you simply select the items there. So you can click and then it will attach the labels against those contacts. We do have a few new filtering options as well, just to make it a bit easier for you. So you can view either filter by showing all contacts, show only the contacts that have the selected label, or show the contacts without the labels as well. So this way, these are the contacts that don't have any labels attached, and I can just attach my labels. And then once you're done, you simply hit the save button and that will link up your labels as well. So that's how you would add your labels and also use the manage labels option to add to the existing contacts. Now, we do have a lot of clients who have favorited their labels as well. So for example, if you are focusing on a specific group only and you don't need to worry about any of the other types of labels that your practice has set up, you can favorite your labels by selecting the little star button here. So for example, if I favorite BGL and my Xiaomi labels, and maybe let's say NZ as well, you'll be able to see the labels that fall under my account. So all these three icons here. So from there on, when I log out of CAS 360 and log back into CAS 360, it'll only show me my favorited labels, the information for those companies. Same with your trust screen as well. It'll only show for these companies. And now it'll apply to your contacts as well. You'll only see these contacts. Now, for some reason, let's say with your contact screen, you do want to view all your contacts and you really don't need the favorited options. You can toggle the option off as well, or you can just simply not favorite them so that it'll just clear the labels and it'll just simply display the entire contacts database here. You do have the option to toggle off the label filter for your contacts, just so that the labels apply to your companies and trusts only, and you can ignore your favorited labels under your contacts database as well. So a bit of flexibility around how you can use your labels going forward. All right, let's have a look at our next few screens. Next, we're going to have a look at director's interest and some improvements we added to director's interest. So for those of you who haven't seen our director's interest screen, director's interest lives under your office holders section. You've got a director's interest button here. So really, the director's interest screen is a manual data entry screen. A lot of clients record their directorships and shareholdings attached to the existing directors of this company. So for example, if you click on director's interest, you've got two options: add director's interest. And once you've added the details, you can review that under the review director's interest section. Now, if you were adding in director's interest for the first time, you would click on this. This will show you your current directors for the selected company. So you'd simply select the director and then add in their nature of director's interest. So you can say financial interest in a certain company, add in the date commenced, ceased, value if and then additional details as well can be recorded. Or you can say shareholdings of a certain company, percentage of shareholdings and things like that. So a lot of manual data entry that you need to kind of maintain for your director's interests. Now, to make this process a bit easier for you, in this release, what we implemented was under your review director's interest, we've now added a new button saying import linked director's interest. So most of the director details are already that's linked to your database is already in your CAS 360. So for example, if these directors in CAS 360 are also have some sort of relationship with other companies in your CAS 360, so your directorships, shareholdings, and other relationships, that most likely we have that information most likely in CAS 360. So to start the director's interest process and make it a bit easier for you, what we have done is under review interest, if you click on import linked director's interest, it'll ask you to confirm the details. So CAS 360 will go find any directorships and shareholdings of all the directors of the company that you've just selected and import them to the director's interest screen. So this is sort of the starting point here. So for Mason, who is a director of my current company, it also tells me that Mason's a director of these three companies. Shami is a director of these three companies, and you can see there's a commence date and a cease date as well. So it just makes that process a bit easier for you because we've imported that information. If you do want to add in extra information, you can hit the options menu, edit it, and then add in that extra information as well. So that button is now available under all your director's interest screen for each one of your companies. And then once you've added your director's interest or imported the director's interest details, you can record or print a director's interest register as well. So if you click on the print button, up comes your director's interest register. So this has all the details for this specific company. Now, if you've added all your director's interest for all your companies as well, you can go into each one of these buttons to print your director's interest, or if you directly jump into the report screen here, you'll also have access to the Register of Directors' Interests as well. That way you can prepare directors' interest registers across multiple companies. So once you've added your director's interest, we have linked it to a few of your other screens as well. So if you go into your contact screen, I have a contact called Joe here. So if I go into Joe, under your relationships tab here, you'll be able to see director's interest section as well now. So under the relationships tab, we show all the relationships everywhere that Joe is linked. So you see your company contacts, Joe's office holdings, if he's a representative of certain joint shareholders or joint members, his shareholdings, his trust details, and so on. And now we've added his director's interests of certain companies as well. We've added the director's interest to your people group report as well. Now, if you need this in a report format, under your report screen, a good report we have is your people group report. Just over here, people group report. That shows your contacts database. So you just search for your contacts. I've got Joe here. And if I export the report, so sorry, under the report settings screen, you have the toggles here where you can select the information you want to view on the report, and you'll see a new section for the director's interest as well. So if I export the report to PDF, I can quickly show you. So you've got your office holdings, shareholdings, representatives, and now you've got a director's interest section as well. So that's your director's interest details. Next, let's have a look at some changes we've implemented around dividends. So jump into another one of my companies. So the dividend screen is under your shareholder screen, and you'll see the dividends button. So very similar to the director's interest workflow, we've got two items. You've got an add dividend option, and then you've got a review dividends option where you can view the previous dividends you have recorded. So with dividends, if you click on add dividends, pretty simple screen here where you can record the dividend details. So you've got your date declared, the year of dividend as well. So you can work backwards as well and add in your historical dividend information. So if I'm just recording here a simple dividend transaction, so let's say I've got share types, it shows you your currently issued shares. Under amount type, you've got dividend per share, or you can decide if you've got a total dividend amount, you can put in your total dividend amount here, and CAS 360 will calculate how much each shareholder receives based on the number of shares they hold, or you can key in the dividend per share value. So you can just say, let's say $10 per share is held, can be recorded as well. CAS 360 will calculate the tax ratings as well. Again, you can change the ratings, resident withholding tax, and a new item we've implemented here is the dividend type. So we now have the option for you to record interim dividends, special dividends, or any other dividends as well, along with your final dividend as well. So you can record multiple throughout the year. So for example, if I had selected interim dividend here and saved my transaction, under my review dividend section, you'll see the new dividend that I've just recorded here added in. These are the previous ones that I'd recorded. And if I go into my prepare forms here, you'll be able to see all the dividend documents that we generate. So the dividend statement would look like this. To prepare a dividend statement for each shareholder, and the calculations made based on the number of shares held. And you'll see now in the dividend resolution, you've got that new section as well, the dividend type that we've added to your document here. All right, so that's your dividend screen. Let's have a look at trust and some improvements that we've made around the trust screen. So if I jump into the trust screen next, filter by, just to show you my New Zealand trust here. All right, so in the trust screen, again, we're trying to make the trust screen similar to the workflow that you're currently using in your company selection screen. So a few things, again, that we've implemented is under your filter column screen here, you can now select the items that you want to display on your main screen. So over the last few releases, we've added partner and manager as well into the main grid. So under filter columns, you'll be able to see partner manager, and again, client reference numbers, client numbers. If you've added this information into CAS 360, you'll be able to view that information on the main screen as well. Now, with the trust, or if you're new to the trust screen, there's no quick way to import the trust data into the trust screen. There is a lot of data and manual data entry that you will have to do. However, the BGL team is able to help you import your trust information in. We do have a spreadsheet here on your left-hand side, so you can simply download the spreadsheet here, key in your trust details and send it across to the BGL team, and we'll be able to import your trust details into CAS 360. And then from there on, you can maintain the trust details there. Now with the trust screen, I'll quickly jump through the screens here. So we've got your trust details where you maintain the main information. So you can record what type of trust it is. So your family trust, your trading trust, and things like that can be recorded. You've got the main dates of the trust, your trust form date, vesting dates, and so on. So this is a new section that we've implemented where you can link up or attach a partner or a manager to the trust, very similar to what you do in your company selection screen. So you can assign a partner or a manager here, and you can upload your trust deeds as well into this main screen here. Next, you've got your other details screen, again, just standard data entry here, additional information around the trust. Tax details as well. You've got your IRD numbers, your GST numbers, and so on can be recorded here. And the next tab is your relationships tab. So this is where you record the main contacts or the main relationships in the trust. So your trustees, your settlers, your accountants, and so on can be recorded here. And you've got your beneficiaries screen as well, where you record your beneficiaries, and you can record your distributions around the trust as well. So we prepare your distribution documents and so on. And the next screen is your event screen. Now, I want to spend a bit of time here because we have added some new enhancements around this screen. So the event screen is where you record all the events that occur around the trust. So for example, any asset purchases, any revaluations, any loans that you've taken in the trust or out of the trust can be recorded under the event screen here. So it's pretty straightforward. If you click on add events, you'll see all the different types of asset transactions or gifting or liability transactions that you have, and also income, expense, and any other type of transactions can be recorded as well. Now, this is not really from a balance sheet or P&L side of things. This is just for your standard record keeping. And based on the transaction type that you have recorded, we would sort of do a quick calculation for each type or each group that your trust event sort of falls into as well. Now, in this one here, you'll see there was a family home that was acquired. It was revalued, and it was also sold as well. So you can see we calculate the balance as well for each one of those transactions. Another example here is for a loan that was taken out, so the loan balance and then the repayment of the loan as well, and you can see the loan balance reducing. So we sort of do that a top level kind of calculation for each one of those transactions as well. Now, with the transactions here, you do have two options. You have a detailed view where you can see the main asset or liability type and then the transaction details, or you can change the view to transaction view here, where you can view all the transactions just in date order so that the grouping disappears and the transactions are displayed in date order. So it just depends on how you want to view the event information. So you do have few options here. and then you have a running total at the top of the screen. Now, we do have clients who've asked for the total to appear in your trust events register as well. So what we've done is now the trust events register that we prepare has sort of a summary again under each of the groupings, a summary of the transaction and the balance that we display. And right at the end of the register, you'll now see the totals for each one of those sections added as well. With the trust as well, we do have a number of reports. So once you've added all your trusts into CAS 360, you can sort of prepare a trust report and a trust listing report. So under your main report section, we have two big reports here. So the trust report is sort of a quick summary in a report format for a specific trust. If you go into the trust report screen, and I'll just pick my De Silva Family Trust here. Under the report settings, similar to your other screens, you can select the items you want to display on your report. And if you select the report here and export, this gives you a nice little summary of the trust details that you've added for that trust. So a lot of clients prepare these reports before meeting your clients, for example. So you've got your relationships, your beneficiaries, all your trust events, and the documents that you have prepared for that trust. And another one is your trust listing report that gives you sort of a status of all the details that you've added to the trust, all the trusts in CAS 360. Again, you have the report settings tab here where you can select the information. This one's been quite useful for most of our clients here, where you can select your trust vesting dates and things like that to appear on this report. So if you it'll select all your trusts, and if you export it to PDF or Excel, so I'll just turn off one of the items here. So you'll be able to see all the trusts, and you'll be able to see all the trustee details, and then you've got your vesting dates, trust issue dates, and so on that you can display. If you've added more columns as well, you can simply export this to PDF, export this to Excel as well, and then you can use the Excel filtering options to filter further in that report. So quite a useful report there, the trust listing report. All right. The next item is just a few improvements that we've added around free-form documents. Now, we do get a lot of questions around free-form documents. So we have clients, so let's talk about why we use free-form documents or why we implemented free-form documents. So the main reason is free-form documents would be used for a scenario where, or for a workflow where you need to prepare your own documents, or for a workflow that CAS 360 currently does not have a workflow implemented. So for example, if you for a director appointment for shareholder transactions, you really wouldn't use free-form documents because we already have a workflow inbuilt in CAS 360. The example that I use all the time for free-form documents is probably company liquidations. So CAS 360 currently does not have a workflow when a company is going through the liquidation process or the administration process. So in that scenario, if you currently have a template at your practice, you can add that into CAS 360 to the free-form document screen and utilize it. So you can save it in the free-form document screen to be utilized in the future as well. So let's have a quick look at setting up those free-form documents. So you have two options here. We have a prepare free-form documents option, and you have a create new free-form document option. So once you create a free-form document, that would go into the free-form template section. That'll store all your templates that you have created. And then from there on, you can use the prepare free-form document to pull up the templates that you have previously prepared. So let's run through quickly preparing or creating one of these new free-form documents. So three easy steps here. You first give your document a title to start off with. So let's have a look at creating a company liquidation, and let's say we're creating a director resolution. So I'm going to call it director resolution, and let's say company liquidation. So you just give it an easy title that you can easily understand, then a document style. So you have to tell CAS 360 what type of document you're preparing. So we have three options that we offer: minutes, resolutions, letters, or free-form documents. So let's say we're doing a minute or a resolution in this scenario. Again, you have to say who are the signatories on these documents. So directors, members, trustees, and so on. So let's say we're going to do a simple director resolution document. I can assign it to just New Zealand jurisdiction. So you've set your initial details. When you hit the next button, this is where you can simply copy paste or just type in the details of your document. So I have a sample that I had previously prepared. So let's say I have this Word template from my, bring this across. So I have a Word document here, and I'm just going to copy paste the text directly into my content section. So I've copied it from a Word document. You can now just format it using these little items here. So let's say I want to change the text style. I want to change the font size as well. You can simply add to this as well. So you can use the CAS 360 little merge fields as well. So for example, let's say you want the company name to appear. So you can just add company name so that those relevant merge fields will appear within those specific document as well. So you simply copy paste the details of your document in here and then format it the way you want and hit the next button. The next screen will show you a preview of the director resolution in the CAS 360 style. So you can see it's added in all the CAS 360 text from the standard director resolution format. And it's now inserted the text that we just copied and pasted from our template here. So if you're happy with the document, or if you need to adjust it further, you can go back to the content section here and then update it, and then come back to the preview section to make sure you're happy with it. Once you're happy with it, you can hit the save button, or you can directly hit save and proceed and apply it to a company. So if I hit save and proceed here, that'll now bring up my company selection screen. So we've added labels to this option as well for you to just easily filter the screen. So let's say I wanted to apply to one of the companies that have my one of these labels. So I can easily select the company there and then hit proceed. So you can pick whatever company that you want. So I can just say maybe it's just the first company that's liquidating and I just need to apply it to this company. If I hit proceed here, immediately that free-form template has been now created for this specific company. So if I go into my prepare forms now for this company and preview my director resolution, you can see CAS 360 has now inserted the company name, the NZBN number, and it's added all the directors that apply to that company that I selected, but it has the text that I just copied and pasted as well. So from here on, you can use the CAS 360 electronic signing, email options, and everything to send this document or this director resolution off to your client. So that's how easy it is to sort of prepare your free-form documents. From here, you can build the free-form workflow a little bit more. So for example, let's say you want, along with the director resolution, you want to prepare a member resolution as well. So you can run through the same workflow, create a new free-form template, and then add it to this system. So let's say you want to also add in a cover letter. So I have a cover letter that I had previously prepared. So I can simply go into prepare free-form, pick up that cover letter that I had previously prepared. There we go. Let's say cover letter and hit next. So I've got my text there. It's already pre-filled because I had it set up previously. That's what my cover letter would look like, a preview. I'll hit save and proceed and apply it to that same company for this instance. So I've got a cover letter now and the director resolution. So I'm building that document pack that I'm sending out to my client. So let's say I want the cover letter to go out first and then the director resolution. And you can build that document pack. So that's how easy it is to sort of prepare your free-form documents. If you do have any questions, feel free to send them across or any improvements around the free-form document screen. we're happy to sort of have a look and improve that workflow as well. So any of the templates that you have prepared here will fall into your freeform templates screen here. So in this example, I just showed you a director resolution, but you can do shareholder resolutions, minutes, letters, and other freeform documents as well. So those are all the new features that we were going to cover today. And I'm going to jump into, so I've already covered all these options here. We'll have a look at a little bit of BGL ID and then some of the improvements that we've added around BGL ID. All right, so BGL ID, we've spoken about BGL ID quite a bit over the last few user groups and webinars as well. So I'll do a quick intro here without spending too much time on it. So BGL ID is our very own identity verification solution that we've integrated into CAS 360. It's really great to see a lot of our New Zealand clients really taking up BGL ID. We've seen a lot of verification sort of run through CAS 360. It's quite simple workflow. There is no additional setup that is needed, and the results are instantly in CAS 360. Pricing wise, a standard ID verification check would cost about 9 New Zealand dollars. And then if you include an advanced check, which includes a media verification as well, or media check, that'll cost about $12. And if you include a biometric check as well, that will also cost $12. Now, how does this work? We do have two options that we make available to our client. We do have a request ID verification and verify ID button. So for those of you who are new to BGL ID, you'll see in your contact screen, under any of your individual section, you'll see a little green button saying request ID verification, and you'll see a blue button saying verify ID here. So the request ID verification really is basically where when you click on the green button, it'll create an email that will go out to that specific contact, and then that specific contact will need to add in their driver's license details or manually key in that information into the BGL ID portal, and then it will submit that information, and then you will receive the result into CAS 360. So that's where your client would key in the details of their identity into CAS 3, into their BGL ID portal. The other option is the verify ID button. So the verify ID is really used where a client has given you the identity information. So for example, maybe you've received a scanned copy of the driver's license, or they've given you a copy of the driver's license. In this scenario, you can type in the identity information into CAS 360. So for example, under the compliance tab here, you can click on add identification, and you'll see all the different types of IDs that you can add in. Now, if you need to verify, you'll need to click on driver's license, key in the scanned copy or the details that the client has given you, and then select the verify ID button here. And that will instantly verify the driver's license details that you have keyed in. And you'll receive a result directly into CAS 360. Now, just over the last few releases, so we're currently able to verify the driver's license information for New Zealand clients, and then Australian driver's license and Australian passports and Medicare details can be verified as well. But if there's any additional information that you record for your clients, bank statements, utility statements that your clients have given you, you can record that information into CAS 360 as well. New Zealand firearm license was one of those items that clients requested as well. So if you have that information, you can record that information just for your data entry here as well. So going back to the verifications, of course, we have two options available. You must receive consent from your clients to verify the client details. And as I mentioned before, when it comes to the request ID verification workflow, we do not store any of the identity information. So when the request ID workflow is where you trigger the email in CAS 360 and send it out to your client would add in their information on their side, and you would only receive a result of the ID verification in CAS 360. So there is no data stored on the BGL ID side. The data is only stored in CAS 360 if you are manually keying in that information into these options here. With BGL ID, over the last few releases, we've added a lots of new options here. We've added an automatic retry. So for example, a lot of clients key in the details. If you're in a rush, there could be, let's say, a typo or, the information of the address that's incorrect and so on. So if the verification fails, BGL ID offers a automatic retry. So that goes across so that the client can retry the verification. We've also implemented Australian Medicare, New Zealand driver's license, as I said before, with biometric scanning and so on. So there's lots of new features that we've added around BGL ID. And just in our last release, we implemented a new option here where you can, we now use Smart Doc Scan of the identity documents as well. So I'll do a quick demo of that now. So jump into my contact screen, and I have a test person that I have created here. So I have Buster here. So let's say I am sending a ID verification request to Buster. So you've got a few options here. Let's say I'm doing an advanced check. So you simply select the item and hit proceed. So this is the email. So you can customize this email if you want. So this is the email that we'll send out to Buster. And that identity request has been sent. Now your client will see that email. So let's assume this is the email that Buster would receive. So you'll click on verify identity. There's a two-step verification. So I just need to key in the code as well. So this is sort of the screen that your client would see. So you can click on add identification and select driver's license here. So your client would need to key in the details here manually. So just in our last release, we've implemented a new option here where your client can just drag and drop or upload their driver's license, and we would smart scan those driver's license and fill in the information directly into CAS 360. So for example, I have a few that I have set up here. If I can bring them across, here we go. So I have some dummy New Zealand driver's license that I'm uploading here. So you can upload them one at a time, the front and the back of it, or you can just drag all of it together or both of them together and just upload it here. And then Smart Scan would sort of run through the document and scan the document, and you will need to make sure that the data is correct. So your client will need to make sure. So it'll pre-fill the details like that. So you can see that in CAS 360, I had the first name and the last name only. And from the Smart Scan, it's added in a middle name as well here. So we will make sure all the details are added in. And once the information is added in, you just need to, the client will just need to hit the submit button to submit that information. So once that's been submitted back in CAS 360, you'll be working on CAS 360 and it'll come up with the information saying if the identity was verified or not. So in my scenario, this one fails because it's just a test one that or a sample verification that we're doing, but it'll come up with a pass or fail directly in CAS 360. So you can see that the result is quite instant. Under your compliance tab, there's an identity verification evidence document as well that gets attached. So if it was approved, you'll be able to see what data was approved. And if it was rejected, you'll be able to see why it was rejected as well. So those are some of the key improvements that we've added around BGL ID. Let's have a look at our last few slides here. And that is what we have lined up for CAS 360. So what's coming up soon? So for the rest of 2025, we've got a busy 6 months ahead. We're currently working on AML second reviewer workflow. So with our current compliance tab or the compliance workflow, you're able to key in all the information, and there's a final step of sending it for a second review. So we're working on that. So that'll be available soon. And compliance role authority around the AML user as well. So we're currently working on those. Another exciting feature that's coming up soon is email selection in document production. Now, this is mainly where you've got a specific contact who's got multiple email addresses. Perhaps the person wants his work email address for certain companies and a private email address for certain companies and so on. So now we would allow you to select that email or a specific email in your document production screen itself. So we're implementing that workflow soon. We're currently working on a brand new annual return workflow as well, which is very exciting. And next up on our list is also the Please Sign integration. So currently in CAS 360, we have DocuSign, Adobe Sign, and Fuse Sign as our digital signing partners. And we're now in the process of implementing a fourth provider, which is Please Sign. I've just done a quick demo of Smart Scan of identity documents for BGL ID, so just been released. And we've got a little bit of CAD 360 and AI coming soon, which is quite exciting. All right. If you do have any questions, feel free to type in the Zoom Q&A. I'm happy to stay back and answer some of your questions. But we are right on time here, so we should be able to wrap up the webinar here. Thank you everyone for your time today. My details are up on the screen. If you do have any questions, feel free to email me directly as well. And I hope you found this session useful, and we'll see you all next time.